going?
Hey mate, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's good to talk to you again. I don't know if you know, we actually have spoken before. We had a little chat at Knotfest at Sydney.
Yes, I do remember actually.
Ah, you do. I
I
guess
didn't
my
have much of a voice, but
I heard that's kind of crazy to think that you got up and did that whole show because I heard in Brisbane you guys played as an instrumental just because the voice completely gave out after that.
yeah, it's funny enough, I've never had vocal issues like that in my entire career.
Yeah, wow.
Uh, so good thing we're coming back.
Yes, yes, and that's the important thing. You are coming back, and you're coming back in the same year, which is kind of crazy for a band that debuted. Like you were here in March, you're back in November. How excited are you to come back down?
I'm very excited. My voice has never felt better. So I've talked to a few different people that sort of make that big flight, and there's a couple things I can do to sort of avoid any issues. So.
Well, that would have been the first time you've done that kind of flight. I know it's kind of a boring topic, but I always find it fascinating because I've gone over to Germany before, and that is such a long flight. How did you feel getting off the plane when you first touched down in Australia? Was it kind of like, wow, that's a flight?
You know what? I've done the Japan flight, which is
Mm,
pretty close.
yeah.
So I was used to that, but it definitely is still a long one, regardless of having done something like that before. But it's a great country. Love going there, and I'm super stoked to come back and slay these shows. So
Oh, we're super stoked to have you back, and I know you're coming back in November as well. I think you're just trying to escape the winter because you want a permanent summer this year. You've come down at the end of our summer, and you're coming down just almost at the start of the summer this year. So I know what you're doing. You're being very, very creative, but I cannot wait for you to come down, and with Thy Art as Murder as well. And you guys were there, both on Knotfest, both kind
yeah.
of brought that intensity to the shows as well. But what's a kind of exciting, and I want to talk to you about, is there has to be a new album in the works, surely, at this point in time. How's that all traveling along?
So I was literally working on it today.
Oh, wow.
It's definitely our best stuff yet. It's almost like I don't know if you're a Knock Loose fan,
Hmm?
but I've enjoyed all their records throughout their career, and I feel like their most recent record felt the most mature yet
Yeah.
of the set. It's just very cohesive. The songwriting's on point. So I'd say it would be like that kind of comparison, where we really sort of figured out the things that we do best and honed in on them. We tried doing some stuff that was in a completely direction before, maybe more melodic, and we're like, nah, let's go heavy. So it's probably going to be some of the heaviest stuff that we've ever done, and definitely a little more raw than
Hmm.
before.
Interesting, because I remember when we talked at Knotfest, you said you were going to experiment with a little bit of hyper pop on there. I guess have you kind of thrown that out the window
Yeah,
completely?
we threw that out. I think just wasn't it wasn't connecting the way we wanted it to, and maybe we'll explore that again in the future. But um, I'm very confident and happy with what we've been doing so far, and we're hoping to get a lot of really cool features for this one too. So
Okay, okay. So how long have you been working on it for? Like, I'm guessing a 2024 release is out of the picture at this point, but I don't know. What are you kind of hoping people first start to hear new music from this one?
I'm hoping early next year
Yeah.
is going to be the goal. Ideally, we could line it up with our run that we're doing with Motionless in White in Europe. So I think that would be great. We'll see how things go, but I mean, I've written probably four songs in the past 5 days, so
Oh,
we're
wow.
we're moving we're moving ahead very quick. So
And you got this pesky little Australian trip just in the middle there to kind of break up the songwriting process.
I think we'll be pretty close to done by the time we head there. So
Wow. Okay. So have you been working on it for a while? Are you in the middle now, or are you really kind of at the start still?
I think we're nearing the end.
Nearing the end.
So we maybe have one more song to write fully for all the instruments and everything, but
Yeah.
it's mostly just me now, kind of doing my thing
Yeah.
on the songs we've already written. So
No, that's very exciting because Purge was such a great song as well, and
Mhm.
that's been close to a year now since that came out, if not
Yeah.
just on a year. So it's you kind of been teasing us. It's been a little while, so we're all getting excited to hear new music from you guys, and your music videos are also fantastic as well. So I'm curious to what you're kind of going to come out with when that eventually rolls around. But you kind of mentioned that knock loose, more mature coming over time. How have you, as a songwriter, over the years? Because I remember at Knotfest, you said you used to be in a different band and sung and screamed completely differently. I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of that band, but I did find it, and I was like, "Wow, is that really you?" I cannot. You sound like two different people. Completely sound like two different people. I don't know. Is there any kind of surprises you think you'll have vocally on this one, or have you just really kind of grown into your own and you know what you want to do with Brand of Sacrifice, and this is the sound you're putting forward?
So there'll be a few cool vocal tricks for sure, but I'm really focusing on the words and the message that's being delivered this time around because I feel like a lot of times with bands in the deathcore world, it's there's a lot of emphasis on vocal Olympics and not so much focusing on songwriting so much. You're focusing on moments that can be clipped and put on TikTok and things like that. And, we've done things like that too, but I think the overall message and what's being talked about on these songs is going to be important. So I've really tried to almost over enunciate things. I've
Yeah.
slowed some things down too, so you can really tell what I'm actually saying. It's not just going to be brutal for the sake of being brutal. There'll be moments, but I really want you to be able to, if you listen to metal music and you're an avid metal listener, you'll be able to tell what I'm actually saying.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of crazy if you non-metal people, people who don't listen to this such extreme genre, go, oh, you can't understand what they're saying half the time. I listen to a lot of bands now, like and talk about enunciating. Like Whitechapel's a good example of a band I can
great
understand
example.
everything through. Fit for an Autopsy, another one. It's almost I can hear everything, which is great because the lyrics are so kind of strong and meaningful and tell a story in this style of
Mhm.
music. So it is cool to hear the tricks. I know Whitechapel on the very new song has kind of done a few in there just to be like, yeah, I can kind of hang with the young kids. Don't forget who Phil is.
Yeah.
But it is cool to kind of interesting concept in a lot of these songs. It's cool to be able to hear what you're speaking about. Do you have any topics or themes you've touched ground on? Because you're obviously a fan of Berserk. With the name of the band, of course. But is there any topics or is there anything that flows? Is there an overarching theme on the album or is there some kind of different?
There's an overarching theme. It's it's still Berserk related. So I originally I was going to kind of stray away from that, but I realized it's a big part of who I am and a
Mm,
big part of what this band is. So I chose to take a different standpoint, though, not just tell the story that exists already, but to sort of analyze things from a philosophical standpoint.
yeah.
So we're going to be touching on a number of themes from the perspective of the protagonist Guts from the manga and the anime. And some other people have been attempting to touch on the subject matter, and I think there's a way that needs to be done to give it justice. So I think this will be a really interesting approach. And I'm going to do a whole video series when we release the record, kind of
Ah,
touching on what we're going to be talking about in the album, and it's a complete theme. So
yeah.
I don't want to give away too much right now, but definitely a theme, and it is Berserk related.
Just a little taste, which is cool. And it's crazy that you mentioned other bands have touched on it. Like I know Salute to Prevail just released a song about it. You got the band Beast in Black that is completely different genre of metal to you guys, where
Yeah.
most of their stuff is also about it. Why do you think it touches metalheads so much, that anime and manga? Because I think besides like Dragon Ball Z was kind of the commercial one we all grew up on. That was almost like the gateway drug into anime and manga was Dragon Ball Z. But a lot of metalheads have gone directly to Berserk. Why do you think that is?
I think on a base level, it's because it's dark and because
Mm,
it's visceral and it's because it's violent, which the music is. But that's just the surface level, and
mm,
that's what like someone in passing is gonna think. But when you really dive into Berserk, you realize that there's a lot of philosophy involved. There's Nietzsche, there's Jung, there's all kinds of stuff going on that is much deeper and there's layers to it. And I think you start with the heaviness, the violence, the darkness, and it brings you in, and then you realize this is actually extremely deep. just
Yeah,
like metal music is.
yeah.
And so I think there's a correlation between sort of the two ideas and the idea of music being layered and complicated, and there's a lot of meaning behind it lyrically, and then also the medium of manga and anime and Berserk. So I think it's almost like a perfect synergy in a way.
It's kind of crazy that when you first started describing it before you said just like metal music, I was like, you could literally, if I took out the beginning of that phrase and just posted that on TikTok, people would be like, is he just talking about metal music? Like that's literally how you described it. And it's kind of a beautiful thing that that can go hand in hand like that. It makes sense that it resonates with so many different people. It's kind of a beautiful thing to see because you know that it's not a new anime. It's one that's been around for quite some time now, but it's
Yep.
still got that such a powerful impact in 2024. In fact, I think even stronger than ever. It's one of those, you know, Rolling Stone gathers the moss. It's just getting bigger and more people are exposed to it. Time goes on. It's great that a band like Brand of Sacrifice can really kind of touch on that and, you know, bring that to the world and deliver it with your music. It's something special. I love that you got your cat walking around in the background, by the way.
Yeah.
My one's walking around too, but he's pure black. You wouldn't be able to see him. I know he's around here somewhere. But getting back to it, we've talked about the album a little bit, but let's talk about the exciting stuff, the Australian tour. Have you guys worked out your set list yet? And I know you probably can't say anything, but have you thought about the idea of, you know, potentially playing a new song live?
I think we're gonna just sort of bring out the greatest hits for now. I don't think we'll play a new song. We did on our last tour, but I've now completely reworked that song.
Uh,
So, uh, I want to bring it out into the world once the album is out. But I think we're gonna play the greatest hits for now.
Yeah, yeah. If you, when you talk about your greatest hits, what currently is your favorite song to play live? I know I've asked a lot of people that. Some people say they don't because it's like picking their favorite child. But there's got to be one that when the riff starts up or the drums kick in, you look at people's faces, you're like, yeah, this is the song I'm really into.
Yeah, I'd probably say that Lifeblood would be
Mm,
the choice there because you generally get a wall of death
yep.
for the last breakdown, and just the reaction to that song is always really powerful. And when I announce it, it's powerful. So I look forward to playing that song in the set because I know it's going to go over well.
And it's going to be a pretty heavy show as well. I think by the time Bayarda's Murderer comes on and you guys have played, though the Australians have energy. I've got to say that about us.
I
You
sure
would have
do.
experienced it not first. I don't know where we get it from. I think it's because we know you guys fly all the way out here. They're like, well, we got to put on a show for them just as much as you've got to put on a show for us. I think that's kind of a special connection the Australians have with you international artists. So it is really something special to see. Is there anything you're looking forward to doing in Australia that you didn't get the chance to do last time, or you think your schedule might just be a little too tight to get out and see everything?
It may be a little tight, but I was indulging in ube gelato a lot, so I'm looking forward to that. Uh, a lot of Asian influence in certain parts of Australia, I noticed.
I
So
was
I
I
like that.
was I was about to say because people have asked me before, and it's kind of it shocks me. People go, "Oh, what's the Australian food culture like?" I'm like, "Well, it's not like you know America. You think of like apple pie and you know turkey at Thanksgiving because Australians, yeah, we eat meat pies and sausage rolls at the hardware store, but we don't really have our own thing. It is a lot of Asian influence because we are so close to you know Thailand, Japan, they're not that far
Mhm.
away. So we've got all this fusion, all this fun stuff down here. Because when I travel overseas, you know, I went to Germany. I saw you guys are back and stuck in the mud there. I don't think you got a wall of death during that show. If you did, I'd be surprised. But yeah, it's one of those things that you go, wow, the food down here really is very different and touches on so many different countries. So I'm glad you noticed that as well because there's a lot of fun stuff around here that you can kind of get to eat. So you're spoiled for choice.
Yeah, I started to notice that, and I wish I had more time there, to be honest. So I'll have to come back again.
Yes, yes, you will. Well, in Sydney, I know where you guys are playing at the Metro Theatre. That whole street, there is a lot of great food. So if you're feeling adventurous, go have a look because I know in Sydney, that's my favourite place to go eat in the city. You're very close to a lot of cool stuff. So definitely take advantage of that while you're down here.
Good to know. Will do.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go this morning, and it's been a pleasure to have you once again, is there anything you want to say to the Australian fans? Because I know these shows are getting close to selling out. I know you got a new album on the way, but a lot of people, like you said, the greatest hits. sometimes when new albums come out, you can't see the old hits anymore. So if you want to see some of your favorite Brand of Sacrifice songs that you might not get to see next time, you better come to this show. But what do you want to say to the people before these shows in less than a month?
I just want to say that I'm excited to bring the show that you guys deserve. I know I had some problems with my voice before, but um, we're gonna make sure that they're the best shows that you guys have seen in Australia yet from Brand of Sacrifice, and I'm just looking forward to it. And we'll bring out our greatest hits for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. And the one last thing I want to ask you before you go, if you weren't writing songs about Berserk and you had to name the band after a different anime slash manga, what one would it have been?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. I don't know. Nothing is really. I love anime and manga, and I haven't really kept in touch with the stuff that's out right now. But
Hmm.
growing up, it was a big part of my life. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I would do another one. I don't think I would. I don't think I would do it. I know it's such a bad answer, but
Ah,
uh, I think it's just so perfect for what we do,
yeah.
and I don't think there's something that could replace it.
No, no, it's one of those special ones. Although because you guys do come out to the Pokemon theme song, I'd love to hear Brand of Sacrifice's version of the Pokemon theme song one day. Maybe that could be a bonus track on the new album. That'd be cool. But
We'll have to see.
yeah, Kyle, thank you. It's a pleasure. I cannot wait to see you guys opening for Thy Art Is Murder coming in November. It's been a pleasure. Cannot wait to hear that voice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it, and
man.
looking forward to seeing you.
Have a good one. Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.